Hello friend, Jim here with JB's Big Adventure, coming to you from Lake Chapala, Mexico. And in this video, I'm sharing with you about lies that people who have not come yet to Lake Chapala are being told. Told in a lot of different ways, whether it's from friends, whether it's from people that don't even live here, whether it's from Facebook or other, I would say, social media sites. Just know that there are things that are being said that are absolutely false. So the caution I tell and I share with people, we've been here almost 4 years. So you have to be careful of the voices that you're listening to. That's what you have to do, be careful with that. So I've got some things here that I've had over the years, had folks ask about, and it looks like I was going to do a video on it and it never got done. So I'm going to go ahead and do it now. We've only got less than 500 videos out right now. Sometimes I guess forget ones that I'm putting out. So the lies you're being told. For one, number one, that the lake's polluted. That is absolutely false. Absolutely false. So here's the truth and the facts about that. So there is a river that's at the east end of the lake that actually water is fed into the lake from. And just around 20 years ago, that whole area, industrial, coming in, would have heavy metals. There would be all kinds of things in the water. So when it came into the lake, again, we're talking 20, 30 years ago, it was polluted. It was polluted. And, but now there are numerous treatment plants, water treatment plants, before the water even gets to the lake. And then once the water is in the lake, at the west end, the water is being pumped out to provide Guadalajara with water at the tune of 2,500 gallons a second. 2,500 gallons a second. And I don't think that Mexico would allow their people to be poisoned in any way. I've heard people talk about the fact that all of the farms, the berry farms that are around the lake, that all kinds of pesticides and all is running into the lake. And you know what? I've actually had people, when they've been out with me on my tour, I've said, I want you to look at something. How far is that berry farm away from the lake? And I mean, it's a long ways, several hundred yards. I mean, we're talking, more than that, I'm sure. Quarter mile. I mean, I just get amazed at the things that people will say and talk about, just try to be negative about something. So know that the lake is not polluted. I was raised in Southern California at the beach. And whenever the waves came in right at the lake, right at the shore, sand and silt getting, tossed up and kind of moved around. The same thing happens here at the lake. There are rolling of waves that come to the shore, and because the lake itself is silt, it's a silt bottom. It's actually hit up. It comes up and kind of stirs it up at the shore. So, but it doesn't mean that the lake is polluted. That's really a false number. Let's see here. Oh, I never see any kind of lake activity on the lake. So I'm pretty certain they're talking about any kind of anything, boats. I can tell you this, that's very false. I have seen, in the 4 years that we've been here, I've seen water skiing, I've seen sailboats, I've seen kayaks, canoes, I've seen sea-doos. In fact, I know of a gentleman, he and his wife, they're in their later years, they both have sea-doos that they go out on the lake. I've seen paddle boards, I've seen, a whole bunch of stuff. I made a list here. Speedboats, even. So people have to remember two things. For one, we're in Mexico. We're in a really poor Mexican pueblo, Mexican town. So they don't have the money to have a sailboat. They don't have the money to have sea-doos. So when you see those, for the most part, those are actually the Tapatíos. Those are the folks that come to the lake from Guadalajara. They come in with their trailers, they got the boats on them and the whole bit. So you're not going to see 60, 70, 80-year-olds necessarily out on the lake riding a sea-doo. I mean, a 70-year-old is trying to make sure that he can get to the toilet in time. Not everybody's here that bad, but it's a totally different lifestyle here. And for somebody to say that they've never seen anything, well, you got to look. You've got to look. There's a lot of things that happen on the lake. There are a lot of boat rides. People come on tour buses. They take the boats to the islands. There's 2 islands here, Scorpion Island and Mezcala Island. And they also go to the other side of the lake, which is where there's a winery there. All kinds of things that take place. So don't worry about that. That's not even something that's real. Vicious dogs. 4 years I've been here. I've never seen a dog fight. Never seen a dog fight. When we came the first time to check it out, Barbara was concerned because she's a dog rescuer. Loves dogs. She's had a greyhound. She's had blue heeler, Akita. Today we have a lab. We have a lab that we rescued. They actually found her at a junkyard in Chapala. And the Facebook, she was put on Facebook, advertised. She was having both of her hind legs actually replaced, her knees. So once Barbara saw that, we went right up to pick her up. I mean, she got in the pen, love at first sight. But we were just told we weren't going to be able to have her right away because they were rehabbing her still since her surgery. So I've never seen vicious dogs. I've never seen a dog growl at me. I'm just trying to think. I mean, you see small dogs, but they're always, the Chihuahuas, and they're always ankle biters and just making noise. But I've never seen a dog fight. I've never seen a dog bloodied up. The dogs here, yes, there's dogs, and they're out on the street. But the Mexican people don't really have their dogs inside their house here. We've noticed that. They more or less have them inside. And then once the day comes, they go ahead and let the dogs out. And another thing, too, Ned, is if you see a dog with a collar, it belongs to somebody. So, but there's people, I've known of people have actually, there's been dogs in the street, no collar, really nice dog. They go ahead and make it their own. If dogs are just out running around, that's just kind of a common thing here. I have heard that folks from Guadalajara bring their dogs up here and just drop them off here at Lake Chapala. I hope that's not the case, but I've had somebody that is really gets good information and it's been very helpful for me. A local tell me that. So, but no vicious dogs. Don't have to worry about that. They're friendly, well-fed, never got a dog fight. So, another lie, that it's incredibly loud, incredibly noisy. Well, I guess I would have to say to that, is that a lie? Depends on who it's coming from. I can tell you this, been here for 4 years. Are there nights that we hear music? Absolutely. Absolutely. But Mexico is an incredibly celebratory country. They have parties, live music, parades, cohetes, which is like the fire rock, the bottle rockets, barking dogs, roosters. If you live next door to them, sure. And if you're going to live in Ajijic and that's where you want to be and you want to be close to all that, well, you're going to get that. Being down by the lake, that's where the families, that's the Mexican families, that's where they all live. So Ajijic and West Ajijic and going San Antonio, all of these, there's celebrations and all of them. But it isn't like it's so loud you can't get to sleep. Now, you could talk to somebody that lives right down on the lake, that could be a different story. And I've heard people say that. But you got a choice of where you want to live. So if that's something that's important to you, don't worry about living down by the lake. choose a different place that's not as noisy. I have folks that come out, we go out on my tour, and they let me know what's the best areas. I'm not going to have a bunch of barking and a bunch of noise. Where are the better places to go? What are the neighborhoods that you don't want to rent in? What are the ones you do want to rent in? Which neighborhoods are you not going to be able to flush your toilet paper down the toilet? Or, just all kinds of different things. Utilities being reliable. There's places that you don't want to rent. So anyway, those are things. If you have an interest in my tour, you can literally reach out to me, and I'll be able to share the information with you. So incredibly noisy. Okay, fish from the lake is being served at the local restaurants. That is so far from the truth. So far from the truth. Well, something you ought to know is that, yes, there's things that happen on the lake, and there's sport fishing. Now, the rule is, if you are a local and you're fishing, you get to keep. You get to feed it to your families. And you see it a lot. You see guys out in the nets, you see them out on the lake. But there is a guy that does sport fishing, takes folks out fishing, because there's bass, whitefish, and carp. And if you're a local, you get to eat it. If you are not, you're a foreigner, it's catch and release. I do know that. Okay. Can't find rentals for less than $2,000 a month. The stuff I mean, it's like, if that's so true, we wouldn't be living here. There'd been no way. When we moved here, we were living on Social Security, $1,400 a month. If you can't find something for less than $2,000, how in the fact could we have been here? I personally, and just kind of quickly thinking about it, I can't think of anybody but maybe one person that pays $2,000 a month for a rental. And that rental is in a very, very desirable gated community. And they paid $2,000 a month. They got a beautiful view of the lake. But for the most part, you're not going to be paying $2,000 a month. There's got to be some reasons for you to have. You're in a gated community. We live in a gated community. We won't pay $2,000. We haven't ever paid $2,000 a month for a rental. I mean, the lowest we've been is $650 a month. So I would just tell you that, you can find many, many properties. In fact, on the tour again, I take folks to the neighborhoods, and I'm talking about which places are for rent and what they rent for, what they were rented for, what are they renting for presently, what they're asking for it. And there's places that people says you can never find something for less than $2,000 a month. And I know of a place right now, in fact, it's always talked about, this community, that you can't find anything. And I know of a place that just recently got rented for $800 a month. $800 a month, 3-bedroom, 3-bath. All the utilities are included, fully furnished. Off-street parking, close to everything. $800 a month. What can I say? I mean, it's just negativity loves company. Negativity loves company. When I'm on my tour and I'm talking to people about where they want to live, it's just amazing. I hear people say, well, we want to live in Aihihi. And it always brings out, why Aihihi? And there are several reasons. For one, I think people are stuck on status, and they think Aihihi because that's like where everybody wants to live. So you're going to live in Aihihi. It's an older pueblo, older town. So Aihihi. I've had other people tell me they don't want to have to learn Spanish, so they just want to be able to talk to other expats. That's not embracing the Mexican culture. We're in their country, we're guests. We should be learning their language. I've been taking Spanish lessons, and because I'm one of those ones I want to lead by example. And so I'm learning. And Barbara gets a real kick out of it because we always want to compare our weaknesses with other people's strengths. And I don't think I speak Spanish. I mean, I know a few words, and she's always telling people I know Spanish. Says, no, I don't know Spanish. I can, when I got here, I could say Taco Bell, but I've come a long ways, but it's been an effort. So I really believe in embracing the culture, and I believe in taking Spanish lessons. Now, if it's a couple and they don't both want to take it, one of them wants to take it, and they're always together, one of them at least take it. But if somebody that wants to live in IE because of the fact they want to learn Spanish, I just think that's the wrong philosophy to have about living here in Mexico. I think learning the language is a wonderful thing. It goes a long ways. Even when you're trying. I get corrected. I have no problem with that. But they're appreciative you're even trying. So that's a big key. So I'm going to tell you, I encourage you to learn Spanish. Mexican people are not friendly to expats. What a lie. I mean, I'm sharing these things with you because these are things that have been said on Facebook. These are things that have been put on boards. These are things that I've had emailed to me asking, hey, I just saw this on Facebook. Is this true? I mean, ridiculous. The Mexican people are very, very friendly. I've never had one say, the heck with you. I don't like you. In fact, I take my bike, I've got a bike, and I ride on the bike path. And when I'm coming to someone who I know is a Mexican, I'll say, hola, buenos dias. Well, that I'm making the effort to talk and say hi. But you know what? When I'm on the bike path and I say hi to an expat, the number of people that have ever said hi is minimal. There haven't been many. They're just quiet. They don't say anything. But the Mexican people are very friendly, very nice, hardworking on top of that. You don't need a car. I think that's also the wrong philosophy. I mean, I get people come here, I'm with them on the tour, we go driving around, they realize that, wow, this is larger than what I thought it was. And they says, we're gonna wanna get a car. I think that's a great idea. I think it's great. You're gonna wanna be able to get where you wanna get when you wanna get there. Yes, you can take public transportation. You can take the bus, you can take a taxi. They got private drivers. They've got, you can buy a scooter, an e-bike. You can get a golf cart. But what I find is people say, you end up with a car. I mean, it could be months or it can be years that they end up getting a car. The crime is high. I know with you, I don't have to go through that because that's just absolute. I mean, it's incredible. The things I hear people say, actually what people are feeding back to me that they're hearing, they're seeing, or they're reading is just a bunch of bunk. And that's why I tell people, you have to be careful of the voices you're listening to. Unbelievable. I had somebody say that they were told to just stay and they're looking to get their visa, but they don't qualify. That what you ought to do is just stay and let your visa, your tourist visa expire. I mean, it's saying that you're willing to be here illegally. Why would you want to do that? You're an expat, you're from the States or Canada. I mean, what's happening to illegals in the States? They're being shipped out. Well, if you're going to live here and you don't want to live here illegally, what makes you any better? What makes you any better? We need to be here legally. That's really important. And if you're one of those that's struggling with that, reach out to me. I'll share with you numerous programs that you can actually get qualified under without having to qualify financially. Just reach out to me, JBsBigAdventure, that's JBsBigAdventure, 521@gmail.com. Be more than happy to share with you. Include your best contact number, your phone number. I promise I won't forget about you. I will reach out and I'll share with you avenues that you can actually take. Okay, I put negativity loves company. Overly congested traffic. I cannot believe people talk about this. I had one YouTuber, in fact, did a video talking about how the traffic was so bad. He was in San Antonio, and it took him 45 minutes to get to his house in Ahi. That's a bunch of bunk. We live in San Antonio. I don't remember one time, and we do a lot of driving around. I don't remember one time that we've gone completely through Ahi and it's ever taken us 45 minutes. 15 minutes? Sure. In the high season, between November and April when it's the high season, a lot of snowbirds here. But I mean, the traffic here, if you live in a city, or I should say you don't live in a city, you live 100 miles outside the city, and there's not even a street light where you live, you'd see the difference here. It's just a small area. So because the area you're driving is smaller, just traffic isn't as bad as people tell. It can get crazy. I mean, street signals, signs and traffic lights are just suggestions. So you see motorcycles driving around without even helmets. So you do see crazy things that go on that part of the culture. Things aren't, there's rules and laws, but they're just not enforced. So you'll see that. I understand that the housing market is way overpriced. That isn't really correct. Somebody sent to me that they were told that you won't find anything for less than $380,000. Now, I don't know why, or why some would say $380,000. I could see $350,000, but why'd you say $380,000? Nothing under $380,000. And I know of 2 houses just recently sold for $195,000, one sold for $207,000. So there. I've helped a lot of people find good deals, whether it's on a sales side or whether it's on a rental side. But I've got my thumb on the pulse of what happens here rental wise. So if that's something you're looking for and you're looking for a good rental and financially you're struggling, believe me, I fully understand. My wife and I, we live today on Social Security, so we understand that. So feel free to reach out. You need a facilitator versus an immigration attorney. Absolute incorrect. If I know the person that actually sent this to me. We were introduced to somebody we thought was actually an immigration attorney when we moved here. And she was not. She was a facilitator. Things got mixed up. It was terrible. She took our money. I ended up finding out she took other people's money and never followed through. She was not representing herself well. So absolutely don't go with a facilitator. If there's a mistake made, the Mexican government just doesn't say, oh, okay, well, you made a mistake, we'll fix it. No, I know of people right now that have had to start over to qualify because somebody messed up. I know there's somebody in Chapala that says she's an immigration attorney, and I've had attorneys tell me that she's not. She's a facilitator. She just does it a lot and wants people to think she's an immigration attorney, but she's not. So, immigration attorney, case in point. I've got our immigration attorney. Actually, there's one of our subscribers came down. They flew down just to get their extension on their temporal. And she got here, sat down with my immigration attorney, and the attorney was looking at it and says, you know what, your passport never got stamped at the airport. Do you know how much of a hassle, how bad that is? That is really a bad thing. You come through and they don't even stamp your passport. Terrible. But here's what happened. The attorney went to the airport, took her, got right to the immigration department, and she got her passport stamped. You know what? That would not have happened with the facilitator. Facilitator can't walk into the airport and says, well, I need to talk to the director of immigration. No. Immigration, when you're an immigration attorney, you speak volumes. Makes a big difference. So I would encourage you to get an immigration attorney. Because, again, there could be a mistake and ends up messing you up. It messed us up. So I'm glad we got directed in the right direction, though. Ajijic is trashy. There's some places you can go where it's trashy, but for the most part, the communities have trash pickup. You can go down the street and you'll see it's in a plastic bag and it's up on a pole or something so the dogs can't get to it. But you see trash trucks all the time. So to say that Ajijic is trashy, it's like saying that it's trashy all along. And sure, there's many places that you see stuff on the ground and all. It's Mexico, but as a whole, it's not like it's trashy here. Not at all. Cobblestones. Hey, cobblestones can be a problem. I chose not to live in the cobblestones. When I'm out on the tour, I'm driving folks around. We're going to all the neighborhoods. And some are going to say, I don't like cobblestones. I don't want to live here. So you got to be real careful when you're walking on the cobblestones. Just be careful. Because of the fact that you don't want to misstep and twist your ankle or break something. Ajijic has narrow sidewalks. Oh, so somebody was asking about a wheelchair. So Ajijic, yes, has narrow sidewalks. Chapala has wider sidewalks. Some people choose to live in gated communities, so there are sidewalks and places they can get around with a wheelchair. But Ajijic, it's all cobblestone, and to get around in a wheelchair is really difficult. You can be on the bike path pushing a wheelchair. But that would be something you'd have to, if you're coming, you're gonna take a look at it. That's something to be looking at that time. But there are places you can actually rent wheelchairs here. Lake Chapala attracts people who want to get away. So there's a lot of people moving here, and I'm finding one of the biggest reasons they're moving here right now is for three: politics, healthcare, and finances. Those are the big three, and it's huge. It's really huge. And if you're having some struggles and you're wanting to get here and you're wanting to get away from that and live somewhere where it's a lot more affordable, or you need to get affordable health care, reach out to me. We want to happy to help you. So, all right, that's 18 things. Friend, I hope it's been helpful for you. As always, thank you so much for being a part of this channel and supporting this community. Have an awesome day. We'll see you on the next video.